Shalom and welcome. Today we're going to be focusing on nouns and having with pronoun endings. So if you check out the chart that's actually on this part, you can download it and you can look at it with me, alright? I'm going to go through the singular in this video. In the next video we're going to go through the plural, okay? So in this video we're looking at how pronouns are attached to nouns. So what's happening? Well, first off, we're taking a noun like the word sus, okay? And we're going to put it into the different forms. We got first person, second person, third person, and then the same thing goes on over here. We have the first person plural, second person, third person for the plurals. So here, as we can see here, we're adding the possessive. In English, you used to utilize the fact of using a possessive as a separate word, such as my and then the word fish. In Hebrew, we're actually putting my fish and squishing them together. So it becomes one word. And so actually, it's a little more complicated because you got to think about it as one word in the way you say it, but actually you realize it's actually two words just squished together. Okay? So we'll take the word sus, which is the word horse. If I want to say my horse, I'd say the word susi. If I want to say your horse, it's a masculine, I'd say susecha. If I want to say your horse for feminine, I say susaich. If I want to say his horse, I say suso. If I want to say her horse, I say susa. And then of course now we're going to go to the plurals. If I want to say our horse, I say susenu. Your horse plural, susechen. Your horse feminine plural, susechen. Their horse, susan. And their horse feminine, susan. Notice the fact that all we're doing is we're adding special endings. Here we have the yud, which is for me. We have the chaf sofit for you, and the chaf sofit for you for feminine. We have the vav at the ending for him. We have the hey here for her. Now we had here the nu for we, and then chem for you plural, and then chen we have, which is the kaf and the nun sofit for the you plural feminine form. We have the mem sofit, and we have the nun sofit, and the mem sofit is for they, and the nun sofit is for they for the feminine form. You might sit there and think to yourself, what can I use to kind of think about, these pronoun endings? Well, all you got to do is go back to your pronoun chart. If you go back to your pronoun chart, you remember ani had a yud at the end. That's where we get the yud for here, my. Okay? Now ta, it's a little different, and so therefore you got to memorize that the chaf sofit for you and the you feminine is going to function a little differently. And oto, well obviously we know who. We use, if you think about the vav in the middle of who, we know that's the masculine form. Now, he, we just kind of have to think about it with the hey. Anachnu, you can see the nu with anachnu here. And then atem, normally with atem we say with achem, so we have chem we're using here instead. And the same thing with the feminine form, chen. And then we have atem. Atem, you can think about atem at the ending, the mem sofit. And here, aten, you can think of the nun sofit used at the ending. This is the masculine form for singulars, and this is how we attach the pronouns to it. In the chart, if you look at it very carefully, you notice that in the chart, it's very much listed out here. So you can see the actual forms, the feminine, you see the masculine, and you can look at the endings, and you can see how the endings work. It's a great chart because, if you're actually trying to read stuff in Biblical Hebrew, and you come across a word and you say, I think this is a noun. And you begin to look at the chart, you say, wait a second here, it has the same ending. This must be a noun, and this must be the ending. This must be the possessive ending. Because that's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the fact of something is possessive. For example, my. And so therefore, we're going to be looking now at the feminine forms. Remember, feminine words, we said, had either a hey or a tav. Here we're using the word Torah. The word Torah, we find here, has a hey at the end. But there's something special we have to do. When we're adding a pronoun, we have to make the hey become a tav. And so instead of Torah, we say Torat. And so every time we utilize the pronoun ending, we're changing Torah into Torat, as we will see. Torati, my Torah. Toratecha, your Torah. Toratech, your Torah feminine. Torato, his Torah. Torata, her Torah. Toratenu, our Torah. Toratechem, your Torah plural. Torateche, your Torah plural feminine. Toratam, their Torah. And Toratan, oops, I messed that one up. And Toratan, Nun Sophie. Don't want to forget that, right? So, I want you to remember, all you have to do is just look simply at the makeup of the word. You remember that if you have a hey ending word, it's going to become a tav. And so if you can definitely see the ending noun, and if you see that there's a tav, it's more likely that this is coming from a hey ending noun. It's possible it's coming from a tav ending noun, but before we do that, the only way to find out is by pulling back to its normal part of the noun, how the noun actually functions. So here, if I was to look at this, I would circle my pronoun here. And then I would say, okay, does the word Torat mean anything in Hebrew? No, it doesn't. So what do? I'm going to change the tav back into a hey. Torah, that does mean something in Hebrew. It means instruction. The Torah, as we learn, gives us so many things that we have to learn from. And learning a language is the most important part of it. We'll see you next time as we go from now into the plurals and we see how plural nouns look with their pronoun endings.